Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Nick DiMartino. That's Nick Morgeson, and this is another edition of Moving the Goalposts Leftovers. Moving the Goalposts Leftovers. We just got to do our plugs. Moving the Goalposts Leftovers is where is it? All right, here it is. Here's a spot. I didn't have it in front of me. All right. Moving the Goalposts Leftovers is powered by Novig, America's #1 sports prediction market, available right now in 35 states, including California, Texas, Florida, Georgia, and New York. On Novig, you're 10 times more likely to win long-term compared to a traditional sports book because you're playing against real users, not the house. Sign up today and use promo code ETB Network for exclusive bonuses. All right. We also have the kick and Twitch read, right?
You can leave those for now because
cool.
this show is going to well, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to go through some transitions with this show. Which actually, by the way, I want to tell you one thing. I was one off on a 3-teamer today, so it was 2 unders and an over. I had Colts Chiefs under 49.5. I had Jets Ravens, which I locked in our show under 44.5.
But that game did go.
It did.
10.
No, I'm saying everyone looked at me like I had 5 heads locking that under, and I said the Ravens will score, and the Jets will kind of just like limp throughout the entire game, and so and the one.
If I'm not mistaken, the Ravens are not good against the spread.
They're just not.
Like, I could be wrong. It seems like they never cover these games.
The spread number was insane. I happened to have it up here when we did it. It was Ravens minus 13.5. Wow. And I was just like, hell no. I will not touch that.
Looking at, I don't know if it's updated for this week, but I'm looking at NFL teams against the spread, and Baltimore is the third or tied for the third worst team against the spread at 4-7.
God, they
will be. Can you guess who the worst team is against the spread this year?
Who?
Washington.
That doesn't surprise me because of all the injuries. That's why.
Yeah, that's probably why.
Of course, the one over under I didn't hit was Vikings Packers.
Can you guess the best team against the spread this year?
Oh man, is it going to be a team I'm not expecting?
No, you should be able to expect this team. They're one of the best.
Oh, the Patriots?
No.
That's they have one of the best records.
They do have one of the best records against the spread, but they're not the best.
Damn it. That was my guess. Maybe the Bucks?
It's Jets related. Let's put it this way. It has to do with the Jets, if that makes sense.
Is it the Bills?
No.
I have no idea who is it.
No. There is a former Jet that is on this team.
Oh. Like quarterback, or you're just saying anybody?
Yeah, well, if I tell you the position, it will give it away. But
no, but I'm saying it could be
former Jet on this team, very prominent.
Oh, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers, right? The Steelers?
No. Good guess.
Damn it! Who is it? All right, just tell me.
Come on, you got to know. You got to figure this out. They have one of the best records.
Okay.
Their quarterback sees ghosts.
Oh, God, Denver?
I said their quarterback sees ghosts.
Oh, you mean I'm thinking? Well, he did too. But you're talking about Seattle?
Yeah.
My brain's a little because I've been on stream since 1 p.m. and I got off at 7:30.
Yeah, so, they're 72% against the spread.
That doesn't shock me. They're a really good team. And I expect them to cover most weeks.
Yeah.
I think I'm looking at last week. Oh, I had the Rams last week, of course. Everyone had the Rams last week. And, of course, Seattle won. But this was a wild week.
Seattle, they just covered.
I don't know. What did I have in the game? Oh, I had you're going to laugh at me, but I had the over 40.5 in that game. And, like.
In which game?
Seattle and the Titans.
Oh, it did go over.
It did hit, but Like people were laughing at me at first when I took it, and I said no because I think the spread is too big. I didn't know if Seattle was going to cover the 12 and a half.
Yeah.
And well, I knew the Titans were going to be bad, but I didn't expect them to score what they score.
Yeah, they scored way more than anybody would have thought. I thought I thought Seattle would kill them.
So did I, but I'm surprised it was 30-24, and they actually stayed in the game. Now,
Yeah.
I think some of that was I think there was a garbage touchdown at the end by Tennessee. That's why the score was closer. But I don't know. It was fun. It was a fun day of watching the NFL. I saw more OPIs today than I'm used to in any given week of football. Also,
And I bet the Cardinals plus 2.5, and I had I think in some of my pick'em leagues I may have got it at 3.5. But I also had the Cardinals as my money line winner on unnecessary wagers, and the Cardinals and both those teams did everything they could to blow the game.
If you had 3.5, you would have won.
Yeah, I think in some of my pick'em leagues, I may have had it at 3.5. Wait, let me see.
2.5 would have been a bad beat.
2.5. All right. Cardinals. Yeah, I had them at 2.5 in one of my leagues. Maybe in the other one I had them at
that was a tough game to watch.
No, I had them at 2.5. The Cardinals had a chance to win that game.
Well, Jacoby kept trying to throw the game away. That was the problem.
Well, did you see the play when Michael Wilson celebrated?
We literally were watching it
when the clock was ticking down.
Oh, and he flipped the football. He almost flipped the football out of the back of the end zone.
It wasn't even a good flip. It was the worst flip.
No. I'm just saying, like, he pushed the ball and it almost went out the back. I had to go chase it down. And I'm like,
the clock was running down.
It was so bad.
That could have cost them. That could have cost them a possession.
I mean, there was quite a few bad things I saw, like the Giants, going for it on fourth down.
I slept through that game. I didn't watch it.
It was really bad. Like people are getting on Mike Kafka, the interim coach, who's probably going to get fired too, because he went for broke on a fourth down play and just completely missed, like big time, and that was the end of them.
Yeah, that was but the Jaguars Cardinals. I mean, by the way, the Jaguars. What were they thinking when they were up 24-21, going for it? It wasn't even. They didn't just go for it. They were like go. It was such a bad play call. Even if you were going to go for it, it
was a bad play call.
It was a stupid play call that they would have avoided overtime if they had just kicked the field goal.
I mean, just looking at some of these other numbers, like Chiefs Colts, which I thought was an insane over under 49.5 when we did it. Like, I mean, they still scored 43 combined. That was an overtime game. But I kind of felt bad for the Colts losing that game. But Andrew Luck. Oh my God.
Daniel Jones.
Thank you, Daniel Jones. I'm thinking of Andrew Luck because of that weird play that happened on the sideline last night where
Andrew Luck is now on the Stanford coaching staff, man. I've never that is I can't think of a better example of an athlete whose career I wish you could start over.
Yeah, I felt bad for him with the amount of injuries that he had, but did you really think he was like a top quarterback though?
Yes.
Really?
When he played? Yes, he was one of. I'm not saying he was ever the best quarterback,
right? That's what I'm saying.
He was always one of the best when he played.
But it was just fun. Like, so he's watching as that ball gets fumbled and turned over, and he's just running up the sideline as the play is going on in front of him. And it was just funny watching the ESPN reporter with the mic, like trying to follow him down the sideline.
Yeah,
look, this is good content. Let me get it. But I don't think there's any other scores that really surprised me. I mean, the Patriots, that was kind of
the Cowboys beating the Eagles surprised me a little bit.
I mean, it was nice to see AJ Brown finally getting back in the offense a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care about him. I'm surprised. I think they're gonna. I think they might end up trading him at some point.
I mean, I'm sure you like because we're seeing disgruntled wide receivers. You saw what happened with Ayuk, right? They're in the process of voiding his contract.
Oh,
Like,
really?
yeah, because apparently there was issues, so they started voiding like his bonus money or something behind the scenes, and now they're trying to separate it. But he's been a head case ever since he got hurt.
Yeah. Well, Prescott had an unbelievable game.
He did have a good game. Yeah.
He threw for 350 yards. I mean, the thing with Dallas is that they're so one dimensional. I don't think they have much of a shot at the playoffs. Like if you look at the wild card in the NFC, the NFC is just too competitive. Maybe they'd have a shot if they played in the AFC, maybe, but it's too competitive. I think. I mean, if you look at just looking at the standings in the NFC, the wild card. I mean, currently the Packers and Lions are both ahead of Dallas and the Niners. Even the Panthers at 6-5 are ahead of Dallas. Now that's probably not going to last because the Panthers do have to play the Rams and the Bucks and Seattle, and then
But
the
you can't
Bucs.
slouch them though. They've played decent football as of late.
I would they've been okay. Their division is a disaster, but they have won a few good games. I'll give them
That the NFC South. Yeah, that
Their
division is shit.
sucks. Most of the teams they beat suck.
I mean, they beat the Packers.
Yeah. Okay, they have a few. They have one or two good wins. They have a win against the Packers, which is a good win. And other than that, I wouldn't classify any of their wins as good.
I mean, the weird.
Here's the rest of the teams that they beat. They beat the Falcons
Twice.
who are not good. The Dolphins, that's 3. The Jets.
Oh.
And the Cowboys. So of those the Cowboys, who are, I would say, a below average team, who are the best team that they beat. And now their schedule gets substantially tougher. They have to play the Bucs twice, the Rams, the Seahawks, and then I think, so for the rest of their schedule, they play the Niners, the Rams, the Bucs twice, and the Seahawks. That's a gauntlet of a schedule.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing with you. That schedule
they might lose their remaining 6 games.
I mean,
the only bad team they play is the Saints for the rest of the year.
I could see them splitting with the Bucks just because out of the math percentages of it. But like,
I would be I mean, the Bucks are a good team.
I mean, if you got to be careful with Baker, is he going to fumble his fourth quarter drive? That's how they win most of their games. It's always last drive.
Yeah, but which I get that, but that's usually against good teams. It's not against bad teams. The Bucks usually have been. I mean, look, the Bucks' schedule has been really good. Early in this season, there was a little bit of a problem with Tampa's special teams. Their special teams flubs kept bad teams in games a lot more easily.
That's true.
Like against the Jets and against the Texans, but I think that really gotten that together.
No, it's a good point. I mean, the Bucks are a really good team. I just don't know how many times can you win games on less fourth quarter drives.
Look, it's a skill in and of itself. I would agree with you if this was happening against a weak schedule, but their schedule has been tough.
I mean, you could go all the way back to Eli. Eli was one of the best fourth quarter last drive quarterbacks of all time, kept them in games. So I guess there is some track record to it.
You know who else was a really good fourth quarter quarterback was Tony Romo.
People forget that too.
People forget, like Romo was I think people like to hate Cowboys quarterbacks because people hate the Cowboys, and Romo developed a reputation for not being able to win, but in reality, he was actually a very good fourth quarter quarterback. Like I think like he led the league in fourth quarter comebacks or something. It was like statistically, he was actually a very, very good fourth quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the reason people hate the Cowboys even more is because you have two quarterbacks, one that's in the number one booth for CBS and one that's in the ESPN booth. Doesn't help. So you have.
I don't think that's why people hate the Cowboys.
Well, or there's a lot of Cowboys bias.
They dislike that because they don't like the Cowboys. That's what it is.
That's fair. I know this doesn't have to do with necessarily this game, but what did you make of the Scadaboo stuff? with the
The WWE.
yeah.
I thought it was the dumbest outrage I've ever seen. Not even outrage, but people were like, oh, you're injured and you're doing and you're there at the WWE
I
event.
have no problem with him being there. He shouldn't be sitting in the first row.
But why does it matter if he's in the first row?
You didn't see him get pushed over?
Well, you do know the WWE is scripted, right? He
I
didn't get
do,
pushed
but
over.
but
I mean,
again,
it was,
but you know this if you've watched WWE enough, and I don't really do it enough either. But you could still get hurt in scripted content.
of course you can, but like those are wrestlers. The people getting hurt in WWE are wrestlers doing like stunts, like jumping from like ladders and things like that. Cam Scatterbo was in a fake tussle
But
with a wrestler.
I don't like the fact though that he was reaching over and pushing, and then they pushed him back over. Where
Like the whole like I'm sure the WWE knew that he was injured. Like he wasn't.
but
It
why
wasn't
aren't the
his main risk.
Giants saying, "Hey, like you're injured, no stunts, no anything"?
Was that really a stunt? I mean, it was a bunch of fake shoving. That's really all it was. Like he's not going to get injured from that. I thought the whole thing was stupid.
So my question is, if he had gotten hurt from doing that, are the Giants fans reacting the same way?
Oh, I think they'd be a lot more upset if he had actually gotten hurt. But like the point is, I don't think he was at risk of getting hurt. Like that's the whole point. Like he didn't get hurt, and he would. I mean, I just like what he did was such minimal risk that I really just wouldn't worry about it. Like I don't know. I thought it was stupid.
I thought his tweet was outrageous, though. Reacting to everybody, though.
I thought he was right.
No, basically say, "Oh well, if you don't like what I'm doing, unfollow me." Dude, come on, you're a public figure. People react to everything that you do.
That's true. I just didn't. I thought the reaction to it was dumb. I mean, like like I said, the WWE is scripted. It's
I
all
know that.
fake, and that's really what this was. Like, did you think he was going to get like he wasn't getting pushed over or anything like that? It was a minor little shoving match, which wasn't even real. That he's not going to get hurt from.
I just think it's interesting that they would allow him to be in one of those things, knowing that he could possibly get hurt. We pay these guys millions of dollars. They don't.
I think that he's probably look. Here's the thing: he's probably more likely to get hurt in a car accident than he is from that WWE stunt, so called. But like, there's some level of risk you always take. I mean, you might be more likely to get hurt walking on the sidewalk in the city, getting hit by some city bike.
You and I have
Than
been
in that scenario. Like, there's always some level of risk you're always going to take. It's impossible to get risk down to zero.
God, you and I probably know that one better than anybody else here.
Yeah.
Walking around on the city streets, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was a little dumb, but I was never the biggest WWE fan ever either. Because
I liked it when I was a kid, and I never really got back into it.
I'm one of those that's just like, I don't get it. Like, why do we want to know predicted outcomes before, like, you go out and do something?
It's entertaining. It's entertaining. It is. I just never got back into it really, but it is entertaining.
I guess. Also, did you see the news that a college football, another coach hit the scrap heap?
Hit the what?
The scrap heap, I call it. Like they're fired.
Who?
Justin Wilcox.
Oh, the guy from Cal. Yeah, that's not surprising.
How many is that now? Like 8, 9? This rate?
It's probably like 6 or 7.
It's an abnormal number, though, right?
Yeah, but I think it is an abnormal number. But I think it's just like this season. It happens to be the case that a lot of coaches needed to get fired. I think because a lot of these guys probably could have been fired last year, and I think that in college football, it's teams are often in desperate situations, so their view is desperate times call for desperate measures. Firing their head coaches in the middle of the season a lot more than they do in the NFL. Only the Titans did that this year.
Oh God,
And,
I'm surprised they only had one firing so far, but I don't know. Just seeing some of these deals, and now the whole Lane Kiffin situation, which, by the way, I read something interesting today that it might not be LSU after all those rumors that came out.
It could be Florida. It could be anybody.
Well,
and Ole Miss.
Some people were saying Auburn.
No.
And I don't think that makes any sense at all. Like LSU is the big job, right? So to speak. Like that's where
Yeah.
other schools are not open, but LSU in Florida. I heard his family was down in Florida checking it out, which you can't put much stock into that.
You can't. You really can't. I mean, I don't know how accurate that is. I mean, if I were him, I don't know if I'd want to take the Auburn job because I don't know if Auburn's that good of a job.
Why not stay at Old Miss?
Yeah, I think Ole Miss is actually a fairly decent job. Auburn and Florida are not great jobs. LSU is a very good job, but it also comes with very high expectations.
And then I was reading all this weird like money situation, contract details, like there's a certain amount of revenue sharing that they're allowed to do under certain rules and
Look, LSU will probably pay him more money than Ole Miss is paying him right
overall.
now.
Overall, you're not talking about just like revenue share stuff.
No, just overall, he'll make more money at LSU than at Ole Miss. I mean, Ole Miss is one of those programs which is just sort of up and down. I've seen Ole Miss be very good. I've seen them be very bad. I've
Right. I
seen
mean,
quite a bit of both.
the rumor that was going around is that LSU has a $90 million deal on the table, which sounds high to me a little bit, but I don't really know how college football coach contracts really work compared to
Um,
everything else.
well, it's. I mean, some coaches get paid a lot of money. I mean, if you think about it, the amount of money coaches in college get paid is much more publicized than in the NFL,
It's true. You're
which
right.
makes sense because, like in college football, coaching is far more impactful than it is in the NFL. I mean, coaches in college are effectively GMs and head coaches. It's completely different. Like anything good or bad happens with a program, you can blame it all on the coach. Coach gets all the credit and all the blame. The NFL is different. It's like in the NFL,
The
you can
players.
blame the GM, you can blame the ownership. I mean, because in the NFL, you don't like things are much more set for coaches than in
Well,
college.
the one because I was looking at large contracts. Look at the Riley contract at USC.
Yeah, a huge contract.
10 years, 110 million, which I think USC is regretting right now.
No,
That's what the
have you
reports
been
were.
following USC this year?
Some of they said that was one to watch. Reportedly,
Who said that?
I s- I saw it all over social media from different
Lincoln
college.
Riley's job is not on the hot seat.
No, no, they said they were looking at the contract, saying it was insane. Like
Oh,
what?
it's a really big contract, but Lincoln Riley this year is not on the hot seat. People said it last year that he was on the hot seat. USC's good this year. They're almost a playoff team.
I think the contract is absurd though. 10 years, 100. I don't remember the last time I've seen a manager or a head coach get a deal of that. The only one I can really think of was why am I forgetting in college basketball? He coached the Nets and then went back to college basketball.
Yeah,
Calipari.
yeah.
Calipari had like a 12-year deal or something. But
So apparently, Lane Kiffin's Ole Miss contract is worth $9 million per year through 2031. However, LSU has reportedly has a 7-year, $90 million contract offer on the table with incentives that could push the value to nearly $98 million.
so he would have to leave Old
So
Miss.
he could end up making close to $14 million per year
Now,
over the next 7 years.
Now, I wonder if there's a buyout attached, or if he leaves, does that money just go away if he leaves Ole Miss? It's interesting. No, I'm saying for the contract detail situation, because look at all the buyouts that have been going on across college.
Well, if he leaves, Ole Miss doesn't have to buy out his contract.
Well, there is. It depends if he has money that's guaranteed to him that they have to give.
No, I don't think any. That's if they fire you. They don't owe you a buyout if you leave. For
No, forget the buyout. I'm just saying guaranteed money, because some of that is going to be guaranteed, depending.
No, not if you leave voluntarily. I don't think that's how it works.
I'm talking about when he signed the contract, if he had any guaranteed money, because a lot of the college football head coaches have guaranteed money.
They do, but that's if they fire. Just like how if they fire you for cause, like if you break rules or something like that, they don't owe you that money. they're not going to owe him the money if he leaves for LSU for more money. They would only owe him the money if they fire him.
That's true. You're right. Oh, look at the James Franklin situation. I think they only owe him $9 million because now that he's at Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech. Yeah, and look, I'm a big fan of Craig Carton. He's like the biggest reason I wanted to go into this.
He is such an idiot. I can't.
So I want to preface my comments by saying I'm a big fan of Craig Carton. But one thing I will have to say is that once he went national, not local, but left WFAN and went national.
Oh, the FS1. Oof.
Some of his takes are so brutally
because he doesn't know the national landscape of sports. He's a local New York guy.
Right. He's a New York guy, but like I just think some of his takes are beyond crazy.
So I saw the take you're probably going to talk about too.
Right. So here's what he said about. Now, I never really thought of him as a college football guy, although it's nice to see him talk about college football because he never did on WFAN.
No.
But so I never really thought of him as a college football guy. But here's what he said about Virginia Tech.
Are you talking about where they got duped?
No,
because I found two of the videos.
It's a little bit of an old tweet. It was like, all right, here's what he said. Normally you celebrate hiring an in-demand head coach who is killing it somewhere else in a lesser conference, but the Virginia Tech fans are celebrating the hiring of a coach who didn't get a single interview request anywhere else, who is 4-21 against top 10 teams, was run out of Happy Valley, and is taking a huge step backwards going from Penn State to Virginia Tech. He's a good coach, but not a guy you have a parade for. Enjoy the Pinstripe Bowl. All right, so there's a few things I want to get.
That's a wild take.
It's a wild take because there's many layers to this. First of all, I don't like the sports fan celebration police.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird.
That is a little weird. Like, I don't like if you're celebrating something, you're celebrating it for a reason. I think it makes sense to I'm not going to say don't celebrate this. Like, even like if you're a fan of a team and you're celebrating what to me might seem like a minor victory, well, to you it might be a major victory. Like if the Mets make the playoffs, that's a major victory to us. And Yankee fans might look down at us and be like, "Why are you celebrating that? We're in the playoffs all the time." It's like, well, to us, it's a big deal.
That's why there's fan bases of certain teams.
To Virginia Tech fans, a hiring like James Franklin
is a big deal.
Pretty big deal.
I mean, I found the video where he's saying like Virginia Tech fans got duped. There was he said there was a random light-skinned black man in Virginia Tech, and because people at Virginia Tech are not that educated, they think Jim Franklin's in town. All they did was see a guy who's clearly not James Franklin. Like that's how weird he's gotten now. Like,
now it's true. Well, first of all, he didn't get a single interview request. Well, maybe it's because it's the middle of the season. Like, it's a little.
I found the video. You're talking about congrats to Virginia Tech for getting the coach nobody wanted.
I was talking about the tweet, but yeah.
But I'm saying I have the actual video.
The idea that nobody wanted James Franklin is fucking crazy. Like the idea. First of all, here's what you have to think of. All right, here's what it is.
So Virginia Tech was all in, all the chips in the middle of the table to go get James Franklin, the former embattled head coach at Penn State. There's not another school in the country that picked up the phone and called James Franklin and they wondered if he'd be interested in being their head coach. Not a one. So you have Virginia Tech competing against nobody, essentially competing against themselves. And they're all happy. They got James Franklin. And congratulations, James Franklin is a good coach.
He is.
But think about this. Normally, when you get all pumped up about a hire, you're going after a guy like Lane Kiffin. You're going after a guy that's been uber successful, that's going to come to your program.
Stop it right there. I'm a Lane Kiffin fan. I'm a Lane Kiffin believer. What has Lane Kiffin ever won?
Nothing.
Lane Kiffin hasn't won jack shit. Lane Kiffin, when he was at USC, got fired when he was at the airport.
Yes. I mean, you could also
getting dumped through text.
You could also say he had a weird little stint in the NFL too and completely failed there.
So
also,
the idea that Lane Kiffin is this beacon of success and James Franklin is not is just crazy. Well, here's the thing. compare it to who else is available. Did you think they were going to hire Nick Saban or
Oh.
Urban or Harbaugh or who? Like, were any of those guys on the table? Obviously not. There was no top tier head coach available. James Franklin was as good as you're going to get. A good head coach was the best Virginia Tech could do.
Can we stop with the Saban rumors though? Because like that's getting really annoying.
It's
Also,
turning into like the Gruden rumors. Like every year, there's this new Gruden room. Remember when Gruden, like for such a long time, there was all these rumors that Gruden is going to be the head coach somewhere. And
he's still rumored for college football now.
well, the thing is that I think he'll probably go to the NFL. Like a lot of people think that maybe the Giants should hire him, which
No.
I don't think would be such a bad move. I think John Gruden can still coach.
Right, but I think if he's going to come out of retirement, he wants to go to a place where he can win. I don't think the Giants are not ready to win.
Giants, but look, the Giants are not winning this year, but I think the Giants this year are a little bit like what the Patriots were last year.
Yeah, but I all the injuries, they're just not.
Right, exactly. They're injured this year. There's no guarantee they're going to be injured next year. Scatterboo and Jackson Dart are going to be back next year. So
I mean, I hate to say this, I don't think Dart's ever going to be a top quarterback.
look, I don't know. The point I'm making is there's a possibility that he could be a possibility, and maybe John Gruden thinks that. So I don't know. It's not the best situation because they're in the same division as a lot of they're in the same division as the Eagles and the Cowboys and Commanders, who could potentially be good.
Well, if they not stop getting hurt all the time. I mean, but I don't know. I don't think that would be a great spot for Gruden. I think Gruden's going to want to go to a place where he's being plugged in and ready to go with a franchise that's ready to win.
Yeah,
Like-
possibly. But he might think the Giants are ready to win. They're in a better position long term than the Jets are.
Well, don't get the Jets are at the bottom of the barrel right now. They can't win a freaking game, even if they tried. I mean, what is this? Like their 8th or 9th consecutive losing season? I think I saw.
Sounds about right.
This
Sounds
team
about right.
This team is in purgatory, like lower than purgatory.
Yeah, it's worse than purgatory, more like hell.
Yeah.
Closer to that. Closer to hell than purgatory.
I can't watch. I was getting frustrated watching. Like, like it's bad. Like every week when we do forecast, I'm ready to just put a bet against the Jets every single week.
It wouldn't be such a bad bet. By the way, speaking of bets, my bets were not good yesterday. I was amazing when I was in Vegas with my college football bets. I was terrible. I went 3 for 12.
Well, you had me chuckle on one of your comments, which we used for the intro for what was it for MTGP, where you said you thought Cowboys and Raider fans looked AI generated.
They do.
You had me laughing when I was looking through that. I was like, all right, that's probably the best one I've heard.
Okay, I saw this Cowboy fan in the bathroom in Vegas. He had like jean shorts, like
jean shorts,
white sneakers with like high socks.
Uh-oh. I think, Nick, did you freeze? Oh, boy. Nick? Up and gone. All right, we'll wait for him to come back. But, yeah, no, he was talking about that comment to me when we were putting his episode together for last week. And, excuse me, he just had me laughing hysterically with that comment of AI generation. I never thought of it that way, actually. And it takes me back a little bit to the COVID era, slightly, just remembering seeing them, what they look like. But, I don't know. That was a interesting but fun little scenario. I forgot some of the other stuff we were going to talk about. We got through the coaches stuff. We got through some of the other things. We're going to talk about a show announcement coming up soon. Hopefully he's able to come back in here. I totally forgot the comment we were talking about. But no, the NFL games were crazy today. College football had a crazy week. As we said, there was another firing that happened. Sorry, this is a little awkward just because it's not usually my show to lead. Hopefully, he comes back in a second. There we go.
I'm back. I had to switch to my hotspot, but
you were talking about the Raiders and Cowboys.
Talking about AI generated Raider and Cowboy fans.
You just had me laughing because I'm like, that's the first time I've heard that since COVID, where they would just put fans like waving their hands, or they put the cardboard cutouts at the stadium. Which made, did you know during COVID you could buy and buy the cutout, and they would put it inside the stadium so you could act like you were there?
I know you could do that. That was really just crazy.
Yeah, from what I know, some people when I was still working in the radio station, they say, "Oh, I'm going to do that." I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead and waste your money."
Yeah, I wouldn't waste money on that. Oh! I see myself, my cardboard cutout in the stadium. Like, I don't care about that.
Most of the time, you're not going to see your cardboard cutout because it's probably not in the seat that can't even be seen anyway.
I also just wouldn't, even if I could see it, I wouldn't even really care. Like, all right,
it's such a waste of money. And that's one of those things like when you go to a game, you're like, well, why don't you buy the souvenir mug instead of just buying the cup just to get a drink at a stadium? But what was some of the other stuff we were going to talk about? Oh, we should talk about unless you want to talk about the Pat Bev Barstool.
Let's talk about the actual stories we advertised we were going to talk about. We went halfway through the show and didn't even talk about any of them.
Yeah, and we got to talk about what's happening with this show at the end, too.
Yeah, so let's get to some of that. So Patrick Beverley might end up getting fired from Barstool because of what happened with his sister.
Yeah, this story was wild.
A little weird, because he found his 15-year-old sister in bed with an 18-year-old. Not that crazy of a difference. I mean, 18-year-olds are basically children, but
well, it's illegal.
Technically, yeah, I think that is illegal.
Without consent, at least, it's illegal.
I think it's technically illegal, but here's what happened. He beat up his sister.
Yeah, that's the part of when I first saw that, I was like, wait a minute. I thought he originally was going to like protect the sister from like the older guy or whatever. And then I see, oh, well, he beat her up. And I was like, what is going on here? And then according to police documents obtained by the Daily Mail, they couldn't use a better source. Beverly was accused of choking and hitting his teenage sister after she allegedly left the house to visit the boyfriend. Beverly has denied the accusations. There was an attorney, blah, blah, blah. Been hosting a podcast on Barstool since 2022. And now, you know how the whole Barstool platform works, right? Where unless something like severely illegal happens, they don't fire people.
Well, Dave Portnoy said that he might end up firing her. Him. Her.
Well, like I said, unless it's like abuse, assault, like something illegal, they don't fire. So if they say something controversial, like Barstool doesn't care. It's the illegal stuff that causes a problem. Pat Bev is a character to begin with. Always has been, always will be. Like Barstool was kind of like his last chance at attempting the media. If you remember, like he went to ESPN for a bit, and that turned out to be awkward because he could never fit in with anybody. Then he comes here and he does his own NBA podcast, and that doesn't work out. Then they restructure it with what's his name from Miami, Jason Williams, I think. Yeah. And that's been awkward ever since they brought that together. He's going to get fired. That's just my assumption because when they reveal whatever is in, what do they call that? In the sealed testimony, that's a phrase that I laugh at all the time that they say. Yeah, there's going to be real issues. I don't think he's ever going to work in media again after this.
I think he will. I think he'll work in media. I think he'll work in media again if he wants to. But
who's going to hire him though?
I don't know. I think somebody would probably hire him
because Barstool is because like Barstool is that company. Like when the big wig companies don't work out, like that's where everybody goes.
You don't think you can get a gig as an analyst on ESPN?
He was
Yeah.
at ESPN. They threw him out.
Maybe Fox. You don't think anybody's gonna take a chance with him?
I
Like,
mean,
I don't know. As former athletes, they get jobs at these networks pretty easily.
FS1 is like at the bottom of the barrel, but I could see them bringing him in.
FS1 used to be like the spot. It still kind of is on some level. Like it's where all the ESPN personalities went. Like it was like that was like the after party.
It's like, well, the only shows that make of any
Oh,
sense.
You know who might take a chance on him?
Oh,
The Ringer. You don't think The Ringer would?
they would, but I feel like if they see problems, they're just going to say, all right, get out. Like, Bill Simmons is probably more of a, because he runs the Ringer sports platform over there.
Yeah.
I could see him taking a chance just because it's an athlete. That's what you're right. Most athletes get 10 million chances because they're former athletes and because they can bring a following in. But how many times can you do stupid things and be allowed to go and just keep pursuing?
That's a good question. But you know what? I think Patrick Beverly developed a reputation in the NBA for being a dirty player. Like he was never really well liked.
It was him and it was Lance Stevenson.
Although Lance Stevenson was never dirty. He was just an asshole.
Do you remember the whole
in LeBron's ear?
Yes.
And then they ended up becoming teammates.
With the Lakers.
I don't remember Lance Stevenson ever being dirty.
He wasn't dirty. He was just a pain in the ass, like you said.
Like Patrick Beverly is like Draymond Green. Like they developed reputations for being dirty. Like
first of all, no one could be Draymond Green. No one.
They were Patrick Beverly and Draymond Green developed a reputation for almost being like the Ndamukong Suh of the NBA.
Oh, you're talking about when he used to undercut people every time he tackled someone. Yeah.
Or remember he would
stomp on people. Yeah.
Well, you remember he stepped on Aaron Rodgers' ankle?
That was a severe injury too, if I remember.
Yeah, I think that was on. I think that may have been a Thanksgiving game.
Well, it had to be Lions Packers, probably, right?
Yeah, it was a Lions Packers game. Back when I know Ndamukong Suh was a Lion more than anything.
He made a shitload of money as a player, so it probably doesn't matter. But I remember when he was the top guy recruited at his position. I remember that.
Nebraska, yeah.
Well, even that, and then in the NFL, he was like the top guy for a while, and then he got hurt, and that was it. But, I don't think Pat Bev is going to survive because even Barstool has a line eventually that illegal kind of crosses.
Yeah. That's why it's such a good gig to have when you're at Barstool. Because the thing with podcasting is like podcasting is so much more successful and stable than radio. Like radio radio is seems like a more fickle business, and it's all about ratings. And the truth is, ratings are sometimes a little bit predetermined. Like it's not always your fault if your ratings aren't good.
It's true.
So also, it can be a little predetermined with ratings. But podcasting, it's like I think the difference between radio and podcasting is that radio is a little bit more scarce of a resource than podcasting. Like you can download an infinite number of podcasts, basically. Like there's so many podcasts that I download from many different genres. Radio, it's like you only listen to one station at one time, and it's a ratings battle. It's not the same thing with podcasting. There are many different top podcasts. And also with podcasting, the thing you have to remember is that you can podcasts tend to be very niche. Like you can make a really good podcast out of so many different things that you could never do on radio. Like there are true and not only can you do podcasts, you can be successful at them. Like there are podcasts for specific sports teams, specific sports. I mean, like how many Barstool has like baseball podcasts, they have hockey podcasts.
Spitting Chicklets is the most successful hockey podcast in the world. I mean, how many major hockey podcasts can you name off the top of your hands? You can't.
How many hockey radio shows can you name? I mean,
I
maybe
mean,
on satellite, but
well, Sirius has a whole channel, but that's the only thing I can think of.
but
But
they probably play games, and it's different though, right? Because they
well,
probably
they have a talk lineup, like the same thing with Sirius XM NBA radio, NFL
that's
radio.
how it works. Because I was always so on NBA radio on Sirius XM, do
They have
they
a
have
lineup.
like talk
Yeah,
shows
yeah,
just about the NBA? Is that how it works?
yeah.
But they're
So
probably very short shows.
no.
They have
So
like 3 hour long shows.
the morning show is Frank Isola and Brian Scalabrine. They do I forgot the name of the show, but they're on 7 to 10 Eastern every morning, Monday through Friday. Um,
Well, so basically, an analyst and a former player.
Frank Isola is an asshole, but he's actually really knowledgeable in the NBA.
Yeah,
Scalabrine, I think, is just a really good guy, like a really personable guy. So that's why he works in media. He's got like 10 million jobs now
yeah.
between doing the radio show. I think he's part of NBC's coverage now of the NBA. He does local Celtics. He does some Nets. The other thing you leave out too is that personality matters in
Oh yeah.
podcasting now. In radio, you can get away with certain things because as
Well,
long as
I think radio. I think in radio it matters a lot too.
but I think in podcasting, like personality is the upfront now.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have something marketable to share in a podcasting space, that it's not, you'll know right away if it doesn't work.
Look, I think podcasting is easier than radio.
I agree. It's not
Look,
even close.
like it's definitely easier, and it's also like radio. The thing with radio is that like if you're not, nobody listens to an entire show.
No.
The only time I would listen to an entire show was I used to listen to Kirk and Callahan's entire shows and podcasts.
That was a fun show
That was a fun show, but it didn't last.
until
And
he went nuts.
now Kirk is well, it really wasn't that. It was more management that really
Well,
screwed it.
he has some mental health issues.
He does, but I'm not. But that's not why the show ended. Like the reason the show ended was because of like
Entercom at the time, which is now
management.
Odyssey.
Right. That's really that's the reason it ended. The show could have continued when Kirk came back from his mental health break. It
Which-
wouldn't have been that.
Which ironically, he's on one now.
Yeah, I hope he's doing okay because I think his mental health issues are very much connected to his talent as a broadcaster.
Yes,
He
very
would
much
be way
so.
less entertaining if he was more stable.
That would be a guy one day, like if I could ever like get him on a podcast that just want like have a good hour, like just to explore like what he has done in the business, like that would be one.
He would potentially do it too.
That's the thing. Like when he's not in the, I hate to say this, loony bin, recovering, but his show is all around like attack
But
slightly.
it's very radio-ish.
What is his
very
fans?
radio.
What do they call them? Minifans, I think is what they.
The
Which
Minifans.
they're sick. Some of them also like the. I've never seen such a fan base, like devoted fan base to like a podcast before.
You can tell he idolizes Howard Stern.
Well, yeah. Oh, that's not even a question. I think even though Howard's show has been a complete dumpster fire ever since, and he just resigned, so he is coming back.
Yeah.
But
But when I say Howard Stern, I don't mean Howard Stern now. I mean Howard Stern from 20 years ago.
oh no, trust me. I don't. The show shouldn't even be on the air anymore. But I don't know. I mean, long story short, because we just went totally around the bend of the story we were talking about. Yeah, I think Pat Bev is going to be out of Barstool. But Barstool also hires a ton of crazy people.
They do, but they don't hire criminals. They don't hire people
No.
who get
No,
arrested.
no. I'm not defending. I think he should be fired if this is true and
I mean,
it's
Rico
proven.
Bosco is totally nuts.
Did I-
Rico Bosco doesn't want anybody to even know his real name.
I know his real name too.
Like I remember remember a guy said his name, his actual first name, and he threw a high noon can at him.
That was and I remember the incident. Big T. He's a
Big
guy
T, that was it, Big T.
or Big Tennessee, whatever he goes by. So his real name, his name is Terrence Morosi. That's his name. So I think Dave used to like poke him by calling him Terry or whatever. I don't know if you remember when
Yeah.
he almost left Barstool. Also,
I do. It was 3 years ago, I think. he almost left for
Odyssey.
like a gig at Odyssey, but I don't know what happened.
It was going to be part of that gambling BetQL before it became BetMGM network.
Yeah.
Apparently he was offered to do a show with a few other gambling types, and Dave said, "You might want to rethink this because if you leave here, you're never coming back." Probably was a good choice
Yeah.
because once you're in the Barstool circle, you don't get fired for the most part.
Yeah. That usually seems to be true.
By the way, if I told you the salaries also that they make, even on the low level, they make
to do podcasting.
So the minimum is 100K.
Yeah.
And I said 100K? What? Like,
Well, it's obviously working for him.
No, but I couldn't believe how much. I thought that was high.
Well, you know what though? Podcasters, if your podcast brand is profitable, they make a lot of money.
No, I'm not debating that. He had a
remember there was a rumor that on Part of My Take they made 100,000 per or
it was like 70,000
per episode.
It was like 70 to 75,000 an episode was the rumor.
It's not true.
It's not true. No,
nobody makes that much.
First of all, they have contracts, so they're not signing contracts per episode. That would be silly. Number one, because then you imagine if they did that, they would just go in and do like 10 million episodes a week. Right. If they were getting paid per episode.
What do they do? 3 per week now? Something like that.
I think it's 2, but this is another trend, and then we'll move on from this. But there's a trend now going on in the podcasting space. Remember when they said podcasts were supposed to be like somewhere between like 25 and 45 minutes, like somewhere in that? You didn't want something that approaching an hour, but not over.
Right.
They do like 3-hour episodes.
Yeah, but that's because a lot of it involves interviews, it's essentially like doing multiple podcasts and then putting them together.
But remember, like when they say, "Oh, you don't want to go," like attention span. Like now they have a bigger fan base, so more people are probably sitting and actually watching more of it. Or if they do 2 interviews an episode, maybe they're scrolling to the interviews as opposed to watching everything they do in one episode.
Yeah.
So, but Rogan's the same way.
No, because Rogan, his podcasts go on for hours, but it's not
the single interviews.
Right. It's just one interview. It's not a bunch of things put together in one episode.
If that's not Rogan, though, someone's not sitting there for 3-4 hours, though.
No, but like Joe Rogan is so good at it because he's so curious.
No, I get that. I'm not debating that. I'm saying if that's not Joe Rogan on the other end, someone is not sitting there for 3-4 hours.
Great for the person that he interviews. I mean, doing Rogan now is a bigger deal than like doing late night TV was.
Well, that was the joke that was going around for a long time. Like, hey, I'm going to just go on Rogan. I can get a bigger audience at Spotify. But my point was that people are saying, "Oh, if it's not Joe Rogan, are you sitting for a 3-4 hour interview?" No, you're not.
No, probably not. I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith. He's in the news a lot again.
Yes.
I think he has like 3 feuds going on at the same time.
So one was Michelle Beadle, which Callan and I talked about on Press Row.
That's an old one. And I'm very much on Stephen A. Smith's side on this. It almost seems like a one-way feud because Michelle Beadle like hated him for no reason.
Well, like they worked temporarily together at ESPN for a couple of years. Then she left, got paid handsomely to sit on the sidelines, then went to work at NBC. That didn't work out. Then tried to come back and then left again.
But like the thing is like I don't understand what she has against him.
It's the whole thing where they don't like the fact that he's working too many jobs or he's doing whatever. He says he's the hardest working person.
Too hard? Like that's the issue now. He works too hard.
Well, they don't like the fact. From what I remember her saying, that she doesn't like that he says I'm the hardest working person in the business. I mean, it is a little macho-ish to walk around and say you're the hardest working person in the business. A little bit, but
is he incorrect though?
I would say he works too much at times.
So saying he works too much, it's not crazy to think he's. If he works too much, do you think he's not the hardest working person in the business? I mean, he might actually.
He puts in the time. I think between doing First Take 10 to noon, then he added radio back in after ESPN basically said, we're taking that off your plate because it's too much. So he goes from doing 10 to noon on First Take. Now he's doing radio on Mad Dog again from 1 to 3, Monday through Friday. So he's got 2 gigs every single day. And then on Wednesdays, he does a political show on POTUS from 6 to 8.
He's a workaholic. And the truth is, that's why he's so successful, because he works so hard.
Did you hear the wild statement he made that he could not be faithful because of his career?
Yeah. That was a long time ago that he said that. But yeah.
No, but I laugh at that statement just because he's basically
self-aware.
He's basically saying, I couldn't be faithful to anybody because I'm too connected to my career. And I'm like, it's a weird way of saying you're just a hard worker and you don't want to be in a relationship, so to speak, I think.
Well, it's the same. It's similar to what Skip Bayless said. Skip Bayless said he didn't want to have children because he was so focused on his career. Yeah,
but at least he had a relationship and a wife. But I feel bad for his wife partially. But
Ernestine. Which, by the way, like I think maybe some work-life balance is okay. I mean, like, do you work so much that you can't even be married? Like, maybe it makes it harder, but it's like, is it really that?
I just find it funny, and we'll get to one more topic, and then we got to talk about what's happening with this. But the Whitlock thing is hilarious too.
Yeah, the Whitlock thing is Stephen A. Whitlock calls him Stephen A. Myth, but first, more than anything, I want to talk about Stephen A. Smith saying that Drake Maye is a liar, claiming. So what happened? Did Drake Maye say he didn't know that Cam Newton was on First Take?
So Cam Newton called him out, saying that the year is bogus because he played an easy schedule, and that's why they have 9 wins.
Which is such bullshit.
I agree with you. And then basically when he found out about the statement, Drake Maye said, I don't even know what show Cam Newton is on. Like,
yeah,
I don't think he was saying that to be facetious in any way. He just didn't know.
I mean, by the way, the Patriots, they beat the Bills and the Bucks both on the road. So to say that like they just played this easy schedule is just not true. Like, they beat some really good teams. And even if you're playing easy schedule, 10-2 is still pretty good. Or now at the time 9-2. So I think that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But Stephen A. Smith saying he's a liar, it's like, I actually don't think I don't think it's really that common. Like, there's such a revolving door of former athletes that go on First Take. He might not know that Cam Newton is on First Take. Do you really think that he consumes sports media the way we do? Like, like the arrogance of Stephen A. Smith to just be like, everybody knows every guest who's on this show all the time. I mean, the arrogance of that statement is just astounding.
No, I think he's offended just because it has to do with his show. So like he thinks he's defending Cam Newton by calling Drake Maye a liar.
I actually don't think he's lying. I actually don't.
Me too, I agree.
Like, do you really think Drake Maye is just sitting around watching First Take all the time? Do you think he's like invested in what sports media says about him?
Hell no. Most athletes don't.
Not everybody is like us.
Unless you're Draymond Green or Richard Sherman, who basically pay attention to everything that's being said about them.
Right, right. I would that's completely different. Like Kevin Durant, if Kevin Durant had said something like that, I'd be like, yeah, he's probably lying because he probably cares about what everybody says about him.
He trolls everybody on social media, so he would care about everything that's being said.
But Drake Maye, I actually believe him. Like, I think he probably just
I agree. I legitimately think Drake Maye didn't know that Cam Newton was on First Take.
Yeah.
But Stephen A. took it to an extreme. And then, of course, Jason Whitlock had to jump all over that, too.
Yeah, and be like, Stephen A. Myth and all that.
And what did Stephen A. call him? Like the devil or whatever?
Something about being fat, probably.
He did say that quite a few times. And it's bad when he had to do an emergency podcast, which he's now calling it.
It's such low-hanging fruit. Like, how many times do we have to talk about Jason Whitlock being fat? Okay, like people argue. Like, look, I think Jason Whitlock is a little bit crazy sometimes, but I do think he's intelligent, and I do think he's a talented writer. But if you're going to argue against what he's saying, don't argue with him being like. Don't talk about his weight. Talk about what he says. How many times are you going to talk about Jason Whitlock being fat? He's almost like the Chris Christie of sports media.
I was just thinking the same thing. Yes.
Like, how many times do we have to hear about Chris Christie being fat? We get it. We see it.
We can
fat.
see it. We see him on TV
But,
every day.
why do we need to talk about Whitlock being fat all the time? Like argue with what he's
It's a crutch.
Because the
That's
fact
why.
that he's fat has nothing to do with anything.
It's a crutch. A lot of people.
Unless he's giving fitness advice, it doesn't matter that he's fat. Like,
Now that would be hilarious if he somehow gave fitness advice, but
no, he's not doing that.
I don't think like Jason Whitlock obviously has some talent in some way, shape, or form because he has a following. I think he has like 700,000 subscribers on a YouTube channel. But I mean, he's at the Blaze. Does anyone care that he's at the Blaze? Like, his show is called Fearless, #1, which is a little much.
That's his whole branding.
But I don't know. Was there anything else before we get to the last little bit?
No, it's okay.
So
yeah, we want to talk about the future of leftovers.
Just this portion of MTGP.
Right. Not the I don't know. Does unnecessary wagers count as MTGP?
It's part of it, but
Sort of. It's like a spin-off of it. I don't know if it counts as the actual show.
So
like this one does. But okay, so just this particular so moving the goalpost leftovers will just be a segment on moving the goalposts that I will bring out usually when we have slow sports days where we could talk about all the silly stories, often non-sports stories. So I that could just be a segment that we do on the podcast. But it will not be a live playback show starting, I think we have
it's the week of December 14th when the network goes on the 2-week holiday break.
Okay, so we have maybe 2 or 3 more shows for the rest of the year.
Yeah. But
and two more, I think, for the rest of the year.
Right.
And
but I think it gets better the way we're going to do stuff.
But we're changing. We're replacing the show Leftovers with Playback Lounge. I'm doing a version of Playback Lounge, and so is Callan. It's going to be a 2-hour show, and it's going to be like a late night comedy sports show. We're going to have a revolving door of guests that will be on.
Like panels.
Panels. And I'm not 100% sure how it's going to. I think I'm going to do a monologue. Callan's going to do a monologue. And we're gonna have, like I said, a revolving door of panel members, a lot of new people that we're gonna have, a lot of them comics that I know. And it's gonna be a new thing.
Yeah, we're building late night sports / comedy shows, and the idea is it's late night, but we're not going to do late night, if that makes any sense. Where
we're recreating a late night.
Yeah, because I don't need all the shitty politics and all that stuff. That could stay on actual late night TV, but like we can go off the board and even be a little more out there on the overnight because it's a more adult audience.
And it will probably be on Saturday nights. I don't know the exact time yet, but probably on Saturday nights.
We're looking at like the 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern probably range, probably there depending on when college football ends, and then on other rotations depending on what other sports there are on Saturday. I mean, there's really no Saturday baseball at night, so that's not an issue. NFL doesn't usually happen. NBA doesn't usually happen. You won't have much interruption for the most part. So
by the time we start, like I don't even know. I think it might be. I don't even know if there's going to January 10th. That I think that's going to be the first show, January 10th.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's going to be any college football games that day. I don't think there's any college football games that day. I could be wrong, but I don't think there's any.
That's right around the end of the season, right?
I think bowl season is even over at that point. Even I think it might even be that last week before the national championship, or maybe like the national championships. There might actually be. It's going to be the Final Four in the playoffs, so it's going to be like. It's going to be January 10th, January 9th. Okay. The semifinals are going to be on January 8th and 9th, so there'll be no college football that day.
So the CFP, so it's on January 19th, 2026.
Yeah.
So you guys will be on with the first episode the week before.
Yeah.
So that might not be bad.
No.
Because and like you said, you have some comedian friends that
Yeah.
hopefully be interested in doing it. But if you're looking for a straightforward sports show,
It's not.
that's not this.
We don't do enough of that.
We have enough shows where we do sports commentary, and I wanted to switch it up a little bit and give people laughs instead of just nerdy
Yeah.
sports talk. So that'll be January 10th for the weekend show. Khaled's doing January 5th for the Sunday night into Monday night show. There's a lot of different things that we're getting through. So that's why I said to Nick, let's finish this up the week that we go on the break for all the shows for 2 weeks. That'll give us some time to kind of roster out everything for both shows and who's going to be involved and all that stuff. So,
All right. That's leftovers for this week. We'll be back next Sunday at 8 o'clock. See you guys then.
see you then.